Hi, welcome to Cale's Garage. This week on Cale's Garage, we're going to talk to you about something that's a little more serious this week. Normally we like to have fun and show you the lighter side of our hobby. But October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And for us, that means something. Breast cancer awareness is not a cause that we just jumped on the bandwagon to do just because everybody else is doing it. We got on it because breast cancer took one of our own, Beth Hollingsworth. In 2002, Beth was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had a lumpectomy in the summer of 2002. She followed that up with 6 rounds of chemo. And in the fall, she went through radiation. Through all this, Beth didn't think mostly about herself. She thought more about the others that was going through this with her. When Beth was diagnosed with breast cancer, she didn't ask why, but she was scared and she was confused. We knew that we had 2 choices when she found out that she had this. We could sit and cry about it, or we could show people how to live with this terrible disease. And that's what Beth did. From day one, Beth never asked why she had this disease. Through 6 rounds of chemo through the summer of 2002, and then in the fall, radiation treatments as well, she held her head up high, and she went through and she showed people how to live with this disease. After her treatments, she was pronounced cancer-free in early 2003. She proceeded to live her life and to go on about her business. And everything was fine. In early 2004, she found another lump in the same breast. Choosing to try to beat the disease, what Beth did was she had a double mastectomy and reconstructive surgery that year. And in August of 2005, after her doctors had scanned her and tested her, she was still cancer-free. But just a few months later, in December, she went to the doctor for a routine head cold. At this time, she was telling the doctor about some symptoms that she had had. You know, she would try to say things like shop, and she would say stop, and just different things like that. And so the doctor said, well, given your history, let's do a scan just to make sure. They found a golf ball-sized tumor on the speech center of Beth's brain. On December the 26th, the day after Christmas, she had emergency surgery to have it removed. With Beth, she had a good sense of humor, and she always kept a sense of humor about what was going on with her situation. Her doctor had wanted to give her some questions so that when she woke up from having the surgery, he knew that she was okay. One of the questions was who was the president, and at the time, the president was George Bush. So as the doctor was waking Beth up and asking her, if she was okay, she opened her eyes and she smiled and laughed and said, yes, I'm okay, and George Bush is still the president. To beat the odds, Beth went home before New Year's Day, and the doctors told her she would be there at least 2 weeks, so she was a very tough woman and she was a fighter. But the coming months would not be nice to Beth. 2 months later, she would find out that her cancer was terminal. And what Beth would find out is that the cancer had spread throughout the rest of her body. See, unfortunately, Beth didn't catch the cancer early enough. Her original tumor that she had found was a stage 4, which was a later progression cancer. By early 2006, the disease had metastasized and spread throughout her body. What the doctors did was they gave her what they call a lifestyle chemo treatment, where every week she went to have a chemo treatment. For 2 years, she took her lifestyle treatment, chemo, and pressed on. And again, Beth never asked why she had this disease. Throughout this whole time, instead of getting down and getting worried about it, what she did was while she was getting her treatments, and even on the days that she was not there, she would go in and she would minister to the women there who were going through the same thing that she was. Some of the women that she ministered to, they got better and they went on about their lives. Some of them were not so lucky. Through Beth's illness, her last couple of years she wasn't able to drive much, so her Mustang sat in the garage and was unused. In early 2008, a neighbor and myself decided to get the car out and take Beth for a ride in it. Well, the car had sat so long that it had just started to deteriorate. The paint was coming off of it, the tires were flat, the transmission wasn't working, and so we began to restore the car. We stripped the car down. We were going to paint it and just, get it nice and neat for Beth. But unfortunately, in April of 2008, she lost her fight with cancer. Beth never got to see her car restored. So what we did was, in tribute to her and in honor of her, we took her car down and we completely restored it from the ground up, back to the way it was in the original condition. What we use the car for now is we take the car out to different events and cruise-ins, and we've got some special breast cancer awareness markings on the vehicle, and we've also got some stuff we're working on to make sure that when people see this car, they know that it's a tribute to Beth, and it's a tribute to those who have breast cancer and those who have passed on with breast cancer. Early detection is key in the survival of breast cancer. So men, encourage your wives, your mothers, your daughters, girlfriends, mistress, whatever. Advise them to go and get regular mammograms. Women, do your self exams. These are very important in deterring this disease and catching it earlier. In Beth's case, she was 29 when she was diagnosed with the disease. Most young women do not have this, but it is able to attack women as young as 18 years old. When Beth lost her battle with cancer, she was only 35 years old.